You're ruining our community Wi-Fi. Fix it now. What?
You stole it! Your scam's over, Linda!
The Great Wi-Fi War. It all started with a frozen Zoom call. My boss's face was stuck mid-sentence, mouth half open like a fish gasping for air. I was in the middle of a critical work meeting, pitching a new project, when my internet decided to take a nap. At first, I blamed the gray clouds rolling over our quiet suburban street in Maplewood, Ohio. Then I cursed my aging router. But when I opened my network settings to reboot the connection, I nearly choked on my coffee. My Wi-Fi, named Bluewave_5G, had 23 connected devices. 23. I live alone. My cat doesn't stream Hulu. My microwave isn't downloading podcasts. And unless my coffee maker had developed a sudden obsession with YouTube, something was seriously wrong. I clicked the device list, and there it was, plain as day. Linda's iPhone, Linda's iPad, Linda's smart TV, Linda's doorbell, Linda's speaker_1, and me personal favorite Linda's baby monitor. My neighbor Linda was leeching off my Wi-Fi like it was a public water fountain, and from the looks of it, she'd handed out my password to half the neighborhood like it was candy at a parade. Now, I'm not one to lose my cool over small stuff. I've put up with Linda's yapping terrier and her nephew's beat-up Chevy parked on my lawn for weeks because street parking is for renters. But this was theft, plain and simple, and it was war. I didn't storm over to her house right away. That's not how I operate at 52. Linda's the type who thrives on chaos like a moth to a porch light. If I confronted her, she'd twist it into a sob story and paint me as the neighborhood Grinch. So I played it cool. I changed the Wi-Fi password to something unguessable, 20 random characters of pure spite, and waited. 3 hours later, my doorbell rang. There she was, Linda, in a floral sweater that screamed, "I'm harmless," clutching her phone with a scowl that could sour milk. "Your internet's not working," she said, like I was her IT guy. "My internet's fine," I replied, leaning against the doorframe with a grin. "But your Ring camera and your sister's iPad might need a new network." Her eyes widened, then narrowed. "Well, they're saying the password's wrong. You need to fix it." I couldn't help but laugh. "Linda, why is your camera on my Wi-Fi in the first place?" She blinked, caught off guard. "Because I need it. You said I could use it once, remember?" Oh, I remembered. 6 months ago, during a power outage, I'd let her connect to my guest network for a couple of hours. In Linda's world, apparently, a couple of hours meant eternity, plus invite your cousins. I shrugged. I changed the password. Personal reasons. Her face turned red. "That's selfish, Tom. The signal reaches my house anyway. If it's in the air, it's public." I nearly spit out my coffee again. Public? My private, paid-for connection? She'd just declared my Wi-Fi a community park. I shut the door gently, but my mind was racing. If Linda wanted to play freeloader, fine. I'd make her work for it. That night, I renamed my Wi-Fi Linda. I set it to full strength, no password, so it'd pop up on every device in her house. By morning, she was out on the sidewalk, arms crossed, glaring at my house like she could burn it down with her eyes. I waved from my porch. She didn't wave back. 2 hours later, 3 new networks appeared. LindaNet, free 4 pals, and me, favorite Wi-Fi_warden. Linda was fighting back, password protecting her networks like she'd just discovered the internet. Out of curiosity, I tried connecting to LindaNet. It took me 3 guesses, Linda 123. Jackpot. But the real kicker came later that day when my mail carrier handed me a handwritten note, signed by Linda herself. "It's not neighborly to block access to things that benefit the whole street. Please reconsider, or we may need to take further action." Further action? Over Wi-Fi? I asked around. The Wilsons admitted they'd been using my Wi-Fi for months, thinking it was free. The Harrisons thought it was community-funded. And sweet old Mrs. Jenkins said Linda told everyone I'd donated my signal for neighborhood unity. We don't even have an HOA. Linda wasn't just stealing, she was running a full-blown con, convincing everyone I was the local internet Santa Claus. Most people would have lost it, yanked out the router, or called a lawyer. But at my age, I've learned patience is a better weapon. I upgraded to a mesh router system and named each node Linda_still_free, paying for Linda, and this_free. Then I throttled the speed for any unknown devices to a glacial 0.2 megabits per second, just enough to load an email in 10 minutes or freeze a video on the first frame. Within hours, my porch was a revolving door of confused neighbors. "Hey Tom, what's wrong with the Wi-Fi? My kids can't do their online homework. Linda said you're the network admin." I smiled and handed out flyers I'd printed. "For premium speeds, contact Linda. She's collecting rent on my behalf, backdated to March." Linda lost it. She stormed my porch that evening, 2 neighbors trailing behind her, and shouted, "You're sabotaging the neighborhood." "This is petty." I sipped my coffee calmly. "I haven't even started, Linda." And I hadn't. Because the more she ranted, the clearer it became. This wasn't just about Wi-Fi. Linda had built her entire identity on controlling things that weren't hers. And I was about to unravel it all. The next day, I caught her dragging a folding table to her lawn, setting up what looked like a lemonade stand for disgruntled Karens. She laid out neon yellow flyers and plugged a portable speaker into an extension cord snaking back to her garage. Then she grabbed a microphone. "Attention, neighbors," she blared, scaring a flock of sparrows. "There's been confusion about the internet situation. I'm here to clarify." Clarify? She was about to sell my Wi-Fi like it was her product. A small crowd gathered, mostly curious folks like the Wilsons and Mrs. Jenkins with her little dog. Linda stood behind her table like a discount Oprah. "As you know, I've been providing internet access through my network, LindaNet, after our previous community network, generously started by our neighbor, was taken down without warning." She waved toward my house without looking at me. I couldn't let that slide. I opened my laptop and renamed my networks again. LindaNet for scam. Linda _underscore stolen for Wi-Fi. And, for good measure, report fantasy. Phone started buzzing. Mrs. Jenkins held hers up, squinting. "Tom, is this yours?" Linda's smile faltered. "That's harassment," she snapped. "You can't broadcast lies like that." I shrugged. "Free speech, Linda. If you can yell into a mic on your lawn, I can name my Wi-Fi." She turned off her mic with a huff and stormed inside. But I wasn't done. I found out she'd gone door to door with Wi-Fi access agreements on fake HOA letterhead, charging a $20 installation fee. We don't have an HOA, but Linda had tried to start one years ago and kept the stationary. I snapped photos of her flyers, her fake agreements, and my network logs. Then I built a simple website, LindaNet _scam _alert, with bulletproof evidence and tips for securing your Wi-Fi. I texted the link to the whole street anonymously. The fallout was epic. The Harrisons set up lawn chairs and cracked jokes about LindaNet billing cycles. Mr. Wilson named his smart lights Linda _refund _1 and still _waiting _4 refund. Linda, meanwhile, showed up the next morning with a plastic badge taped to her sweater, claiming she was conducting a neighborhood audit for cyberbullying. I asked who reported me. She didn't answer, just tried to peek into my living room like she had a search warrant. I shut the door. I called my cousin Rachel, an IT security specialist who moonlights with a consumer protection agency. She filed an informal complaint with the local office for fraudulent claims. Then my old college buddy, Mike, a cybersecurity engineer, helped me set up a honeypot network called free_Wi-Fi. It looked like an open connection, but logged all activity. Sure enough, Linda connected within 10 minutes, her IP address lighting up the logs like a Christmas tree. I didn't want to press charges, just make her stop. So, I printed one last flyer. Notice, your devices have been flagged for accessing a restricted monitoring network. Future attempts may be reported to the Cybercrime Division. Contact Linda for questions. I taped it to every mailbox. That night, Linda's porch lights stayed off. No music, no flyers, no lemonade stands. Silence. But Linda wasn't done. The next morning, a city utility worker was digging near my sidewalk. "Work order for a line check," he said. "Says you're interfering with a community signal." A community signal? Linda had filed a city complaint, claiming my router was disrupting public service. I showed the worker my setup, my bills, and my logs. He laughed. "Lady thinks she's running AT&T. He closed the work order and left. That's when I realized Linda wasn't just entitled, she was dangerous. If she'd go this far over Wi-Fi, what else was she controlling? I dug deeper, combing through county records, tax databases, In the local Facebook group, she'd once tried to ban me for suspicious activity. I found a failed neighborhood development plan from 6 years ago, a lifestyle community that never materialized. Linda had latched onto the defunct HOA charter, using it to fake authority. She'd convinced new residents she was the HOA president, fining them for grass length and mailbox colors. One guy, Sam, had paid $600 to her Venmo account, L_communities, thinking it was legit. When I told him there was no HOA, he looked like he'd been punched. Linda's house wasn't even fully refinanced twice and was underwater financially. Control was her way of coping, her currency. I could have felt sorry for her, but she'd weaponized her desperation. So, I organized a neighborhood meeting at the local library. I handed out flyers, truth about the HOA. Bring questions. When I taped one to Linda's mailbox, I didn't ring the bell. The meeting was a hit. 16 people showed up, including Sam, with a bag of popcorn, like it were a show. I projected county records, the developer's letter confirming the HOA was dead, and Linda's fake fines. Gasps filled the room. Then I showed her Wi-Fi scam flyers, fake HOA seals, and her $10 a month LindaNet premium. One woman asked, "Can we get our money back?" I didn't answer, just clicked to my final slide. A screenshot of Linda's new business, L_community_services_LLC, registered last week with our street as the address. She's trying to legitimize a scam, I said. This could be illegal. The room erupted. Sam's popcorn hit the floor. Neighbors started talking about small claims court. 3 offered to visit the city clerk. A realtor, Dave, said he'd call his lawyer friend about forcing a cease and desist. I had one last move. I set up a short-range Wi-Fi repeater aimed at Linda's house, broadcasting Linda_evidence. It was unencrypted, packed with public fila screenshots, recordings, documents. She connected within an hour. The next morning, a crumpled note was taped to my door with a Band-Aid. To whom it may concern, it has come to my attention that there have been misunderstandings about our community structure. I regret any confusion and will step back from neighborhood affairs. I appreciate your discretion. No signature, no apology, just a retreat. I thought it was over. Then a for sale sign went up in Linda's yard, screaming price slashed. Move fast. A moving truck appeared, and I figured peace was near. But then Sam called me outside. Realtors were touring Linda's house, telling buyers it was in a well-managed HOA community. She'd included fake HOA rules in the listing. I flagged down the agent, Sarah, and showed her the county zoning map. No HOA, I said. Never was. I've got proof she's been faking it for years. Sarah's smile tightened. Can you email me that? I already had. The listing vanished overnight. But Linda wasn't done. She held a goodbye garage sale with balloons and a DJ booth blasting 90s hits. Everything must go, she chirped as I walked by. Even the memories. I raised an eyebrow. Selling guilt cheap? She leaned in, whispering, "You think you've won, but I'm leaving for a better opportunity." I smirked. Sure, Linda. I'm the mayor of Ohio. That afternoon, Sarah called. Linda had relisted her house across town, using the same photos but a new address, still claiming it was in an HOA she ran. She'd even built a website, lcommunities.org, with fake testimonials and a Contact President Linda button. She was franchising her scam. I sent everything: screenshots, videos, meeting recordings to the State Attorney General's Consumer Protection Division, and a reporter friend, Lisa. 2 weeks later, 3 sedans were parked at Linda's house. Men in suits and a woman with a notepad knocked. Linda's face was pale, her smugness gone. By evening, she was gone. No truck, no farewell, just gone. Her house was relisted a week later with a new agent. No HOA. Quiet neighborhood. Clean slate. Lisa's news story aired, exposing phantom HOAs without naming Linda directly. Neighbors from other towns reached out, tried the same scam in 2 other cities under names like Civic_Living and Unity_First. The Wi-Fi was just the thread I pulled. Linda didn't just lose my internet, she lost her fake empire. I renamed my Wi-Fi one last time. Linda_free_since_2025. We threw a block Pertino flyers, no fines, just potluck and laughter. Someone baked a cake. 404, Linda not found. Sam brought popcorn. For the first time in years, the signal was clear. What do you think about Linda's actions? Was she just desperate, or was this pure entitlement? Should I have confronted her directly, or kept playing the long game? Share your thoughts in the comments below, especially on how far people should go to fight injustice or stand up to bullies in their community. Let's hear your take.